Good morning, Ashley here on the 7th of February. Welcome to the Daily Stoic Recovery Podcast. Fear as a self-fulfilling prophecy. Many are harmed by fear itself, and many may have come to their fate while dreading fate. SENECA. OEDIPUS 992. OEDIPUS OEDIPUS 992. Many are harmed by fear itself, and many are harmed. Many have come to their fate while dreading fate. Come to their fate while dreading fate. So we are the source of all fears. We are the source of our reality. We are responsible for all of our actions. And in terms of fear, we might be scared of poverty, for example. So the actual fear of poverty actually manifests, can actually manifest poverty. And that's the source of it. That's where it begins. That's where the seed is planted, with the fear of something happening, with the fear of not having enough money, with the fear of not being able to pay your bills, with the seed of that we planted at, do we have enough, not having enough money to pay your bills, pay the rent, pay for all the things that you use, and that you do. So yeah, that's the seed of it, and it's recognizing and accepting that as we feel scared, or when we're in fear, or when we're in worry, that it's taking responsibility for our own self-control, that we've actually planted that seed, accepting it, and then asking questions. What next? What if that fear did happen? What would be next? And yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, as the Daily Stoic book discusses. And in the book it discusses how Nero micromanaged, and how he he killed his wife and his mother, and he killed Seneca. It seemed to go a bit crazy and mindless and a bit manic, because of the fear of not being enough, and not having enough, and wanting more. And that's it's a sign of that we're not present, because fear it's just a definitive of an anticipation of something abhorrent, something that's not happened yet happening. But it's realizing that in this present moment, in this space we're in this now moment, that can we breathe? Can we talk? Can we smell? Can we do all these things? Can we do? I'm shooting a video now. I'm recording a podcast. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for all my organs and all the processes all the millions of processes that are happening in my body as I speak to you now. So it's being grateful for that. It's knowing that it's feeling your body, understanding your body, and knowing that the universe has got your back, and yeah, being responsible for your own self-control in terms of worry and fear, and as I said, accepting the seed that you have planted with your fear, and yeah, seeing where it's come from. Where is that fear come from? Where is it? Who? Where were you? Who was you with when you planted that seed? What was your mental state? And yeah, it's in terms of your actions, in terms of your behaviours, your perception of that fear. That's how the fear will accelerate or diminish. And yeah, you might be in fear in this times of not being able to see your family in person, and so it's recognizing that fear. And you might be in fear of being alone, and yeah, I believe most fears, well, all fears are man-made, because as I've said previously, there's no T-Rex running around, there's no animals running around, and there's nothing to fear in this moment. We're very fortunate to live in quite a peaceful world, and all these fears are man-made. Fears of being alone, fears of not enough money, fears of things breaking, fears of your body not as body, fears of getting fired. All these fears are really planted from other people, from what we see around us. And this is a modern world with the internet. We plant these seeds of fear by looking at what someone else has got, and unknowingly, unconsciously, we plant that seed inside ourselves and say, "Oh, I haven't got what they have got," whether it is money, relationships, status, job. So that seed is planted, and then it grows and grows. And being aware of that and being objective about that, and maybe going back to the source of it. Okay, where is it? Where does that story come from? That you feel as though you're in fear of not having as much as someone else. You might be in fear of not having a body like someone has. Yeah, with the internet, quite a lot of people sort of post their bodies on the internet, and yeah, people can perceive that as not being enough, and they want their body, and there we go. The seed of fear is planted. The seed of fear is not being enough. The fear of lack. I mean, another man-made fear, lack, because what is lack? It's a perception of lack. There's no definitive lack. It's a man-made thing that to have $10 million is happiness. It's a man-made thing, but using news, social media, and radio, TV, whatever it is, they dress up this image that being rich is happiness, but it's just realizing that it's a man-made. It's not real. It's not real. It's just a perception that we've built. It's just an opinion, an impression that being rich is going to make you any happier than you are now. And yeah, it's conditioning, and to believe that money equals happiness, money equals safety and security, and you need money to pay the bills and live and eat and survive, and so it's actually reflecting on that, and it is actually true. It's actually true. But again, it's accepting these fears and loving these fears. It's not like, for me, it's not an action point is doing less action. So the less action you do when you're in fear, when you're in worry, one of the worst things you can do is sort of distract that fear and sort of maybe turn on the news or have some food, or even like going for a run or going for a walk can be like running away from a fear, rather than just listening to it, just listening to where it's come from, just sitting in silence and removing all distractions, phones, TV, other people, and just sitting with it and listening to it. Because if you try and squeeze in a box and take action and not pay attention to literally like what you're feeling at that time, what is this feeling? Because fear is quite a natural phenomenon. It's quite natural. It's because we are humans. We're built to survive. So it's an innate mechanism we have, that if we sense some danger, we go into fear. But as I said, our senses are coloured. Our senses are mystified. Our senses are full of mist because of what we see and what we perceive. So it's changing that perception of looking at what other people are doing, how much money other people have, and comparing yourself to other people, comparing what you have to what other people have in terms of body, job, relationship, status, whatever it is. And it's a trap. It's a trap we can fall down. And you know, I've done it myself. I was doing it yesterday. I was in a clubhouse room and I was listening to all these famous people, and you know, I can feel that part of my body that wants to. So it feels like scared that, you know, they've got what they've got, that person has got what someone I haven't got, and it wants to feel scared, and it wants the attention, it wants the perceived attention what they have that I haven't got. It's probably a part of my body that doesn't want to be alone. It wants to be heard. It wants attention. It wants love. It wants likes. It wants comments. It wants. Yeah. So it's part of my body, moving around, usually my shoulders. But that's always going to be there. So what do we do? What action do we take? Well, the less action is actually the best, and just sitting with that, and just knowing that happiness, sadness, it's just a feeling. It's not actually you. It's just there. It's from the universe. It's there for you to pay attention to, and like it wants to be listened to. And yeah, literally, it's unrealistic to feel happy all the time, you know. It's happy, sadness, fearful, not fearful. They're just being objective about these fears, and knowing that literally all fears, as I've mentioned on other videos, you can look back, all fears have an end result of death. So if you fear not having enough money, if you fear not having a body, if you fear not having enough followers, if you fear scared of getting fired, if you fear your relationship falling apart and being alone, if you follow all the way down to, okay, what next, it always has an endpoint of death. So what we're really scared of is death. So for me, it's looking at that death. It's staring death in the face and and knowing that it's actually just a way of, it's just part of life. Death is part of life. And when we fear death, it's very difficult. It's going to be tough for you to live. It's going to be tough for you to help people living if you have fear of death. And it's not fear, so it's recognizing you're not feared of not enough money. It's just a part of you that is scared of death. It's scared of dying. But the more you listen to these parts of your body, moving around wherever you are, watch them dissolve. I meditate every morning for an hour. It's being aware of these things, and yes, fear is self-fulfilling. We actually get addicted to these fears, not knowingly. We're not knowingly addicted to these fears. And we there's a seed planted there, and we feel as though we need to be in that fear to stay alive. But it's not you, it's your ego. It's your ego that wants to stay alive. You are an amazing person that has a soul that is abundant. Who is not scared of death. It knows death is part of life. It's got an amazing creation. It's got full of abundance. It has no limits. It has unlimited potential, and it believes, your soul believes everything is possible. So it's your ego, it's your outer shell that it needs to be peeled off, that is in fear, that creates this fear. And the more you distract yourself from listening to this fear, the more it will grow, and the more it will manifest into your reality. If you fear poverty, poverty will manifest itself. It's not the outside world that is creating. We believe that the outside world is creating poverty. We believe it's the outside world that is creating the not enoughness, but it's taking responsibility for self-control, that we are creating it. We create everything in our outside world. Our perceptions, we create our perceptions of the outside world. And lack is just man-made. It's just knowing lack is man-made. Not enoughness is man-made. Not being enough is man-made. It's just a perception. It's just an opinion. And you could walk down the street and walk past a millionaire, and in that moment, in this now, everyone is equal. What is the difference between someone next to me having £10 million and me having £5,000? There's no difference, because we're both here in this space. We both have equal opportunities to create from now. What's happened in the past is the past, and the future is the future. And you will get your ego trying to listening to you and reminding you that to try and turn you away from the now, because the now will feel scary to the ego, and being present and being here now. So that's my thoughts for today. And thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and pay attention to your fear today. Love them, listen to them, sit in silence with them, love them, and don't take action. The less action, the better. The less active you are when you are in fear, the better it will be. speak to you soon.